How to double your practice by working less. Yes, this is a very cheesy hook, but hear me out. If you watch this video, if you listen to the podcast, today we're going to talk about this mental model that I wish I was told years and years and years ago. And it's about business asymmetries. We're going to discover what are the 4 biggest asymmetries in your practice, in your business. And you might be thinking, well, Stefan, how do you know my business? You don't even know how I practice, if I'm a single doc practice, if I have many chiropractors working for me. Well, the good thing about mental models is they are concepts. They do not change regardless if you're a dentist, if you're a chiropractor, if you have a multidisciplinary practice, if you practice upper cervical, and so on. So, without further ado, let's break some myths first, and then discover the concept that I wish someone told me when I was even younger. So, there is a way that you can double your practice by working less, and hard work is required. Of course, I've talked about this in previous videos, and I've talked about this in previous podcasts, that especially when you're first starting, there is no way around it. You've got to work hard. You have to work hard. Sometimes it can be 20, 30, 40, 50 hours weeks. And if you're not willing to do that, then maybe business is not for you. However, at some point, there is a shift. There needs to be a shift where hard work enough isn't alone. And it's not going to produce you double or triple the results that you're currently getting if you're just working hard. So it has to be to do with working smart. But what does that even look like? What does it even look like when people say to you, oh, don't work hard, work smart? Well, I think both have their place in time. When I was in practice to begin with, I just had to work really, really, really hard. My strategies long-term are always, well, let's figure out how we can work out what I call the input and output equation. And let me give an example. So there are certain things in business that require a lot of work and not give you results. We can all think about it, right? You've spent hours and hours and hours working on the website with website developers, weeks and weeks and weeks, but actually the website is not optimized to convert patients. Therefore, it's just an expensive advertising card for you. That is it. And it's so painful to hear that, because you may have spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 pounds on a website that doesn't convert. And you will look at some clinics and they're booming with new patients and their website looks kind of rubbish. That is working really, really, really hard on the wrong thing. So smart work, in my opinion, is, as a business owner, identifying and filtering and isolating what are the highest value, highest priority tasks within your company, within your business, that you have to choose what lever to pull in order to generate the highest return on your investment with the minimum amount of effort. I'll let that one sink in. But if you have to watch the video again, you have to re-listen to that quote, please do, because I've spent a lot of time, money, energy, and effort to think about how do I basically create the most amount of return on a specific task with the minimum amount of effort in the most effective possible way. And that doesn't really change in terms of physics. In physics, we have this law, and I've written it down here, the cause and the effect. I lift this bottle, I apply force, and the bottle is lifted above the table. I write a good Facebook ad, it launches, and it converts well. There's a cause and there is an effect. This balance takes a long time to figure out, which is why when I look at clinics that I work with, or we look at the community that we've launched and launching, depending on when you're watching this video, most clinics, most practice owners have the same problems. And the solutions for those problems do not change. You might change the platform where you advertise, but you still have to understand what's a good advert, how to hook people, what's a good headline, what's a good image, what's a call to action button that stands out. How do you reduce buyer's remorse? How do you reduce friction for people to actually book an appointment? All these are questions that you have to constantly ask yourself, because if you don't understand this cause and effect principle, regardless if you're just starting out in business or if you've been running 5-6 years, 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, the owner gets stressed out, eventually burns out, and it doesn't enjoy running the business. It doesn't enjoy even being part of the business. The second thing, and by the way, this happened to me when I was in practice, 3 years in practice, 3.5. I was like just doing everything and cleaning the floor and cutting the grass outside and hiring a marketing agency and firing a marketing agency and adjusting patients and not having systems in place or as many systems in place, not understanding how to treat staff and how to create culture and all of that stuff just cost me so much time and energy. And I just didn't really enjoy being in the business. And I think my team could tell that at the time. So I paid a high price to learn that lesson. And the second thing that happens, if you don't understand the cause and effect principle, if you don't understand smart work, if you don't understand something that we're going to talk about in a minute, which is called the business asymmetries framework, you just end up suffering in terms of practice growth, and you'll be focusing on the wrong stuff that doesn't produce results. Just plain and simple. And it's not easy to hear, by the way. You know, when I was younger and mentors were telling me to do this and I thought I knew better, I was resistant too. You have to go on your path. You have to go on your journey. You have to make your mistakes. But I'm here to show you what works, regardless of the economy, regardless of the location you're in or the type of practice that you have. The biggest lesson, and now I work with practices. We've set up 5 practices from our company. I've built my company to 7-figure business. We have a team of 14, 15 people full-time. And I feel like we've got some formula here that works for us. Now I'm going out there and I'm consulting with other businesses and I'm noticing the same problems. And the biggest lesson I've learned from clinics that are doing really, really, really well and clinics that are not doing well at all is this. Not all business activities are created equal. Not all business, which is why you just have to understand this concept of business asymmetries. It's a framework. And the 4 things, I've studied so many clinics, and the 4 things that I've come across that you have to become not focused on, obsessed over. This is your job as a business owner, is to look at these 4 principles and understand what a business asymmetry is. So there's 2 triangles. If you're watching the video on YouTube, there's 2 triangles. Triangle number 1 is the smaller one. It shows you the effort that you put on a certain task. The bigger triangle is the effect, is the output. So think of a small triangle: input, I kick a ball; output, how far does the ball go, or the direction of the ball. Small triangle, I run a Facebook campaign, I get 10 new patients in. Versus I do a spinal screening, I get 30 new patients in. So input, output. Going up, cause and effect. So important to understand this concept, guys, because business boils down to these 4 asymmetries. Meaning, how can I pull a lever that requires 1 hour of my time, but it can give me 20 new patients? An effective in-house spinal screening. An effective content marketing campaign. An effective reactivation campaign. All the things that we talk about within the Practice Peak community, and I've shared many, many, many times, are these. Number 1, how do you get new patients from different channels repeatedly and predictably? For small businesses that are starting, you just have to know how to do that. I teach about 20 different channels that we acquire clients from, and if you haven't watched some previous videos, please go back and watch them. We show you how I've had 1 month, 23 different acquisition channels from where we get patients from and what pages they book. And none of those, by the way, were lead generation, which means my CAs are not constantly having to call people and follow up and say, oh, would you like to book your appointment? We noticed you've inputted your details into this 7 steps to healthier back pain. Maybe one day we'll do it. But for now, our clinics are working well. I'm averaging 104 new patients a month in 2024, and the time of recording is July. So we kind of know what we're doing. How do we get new patients from different channels repeatedly and predictably? The second disproportionate business framework concept that you have to consider is, how do I get patients to actually start care consistently? Some clinics, when I work with them, they don't even measure that. They don't even know what is their KPI that they need to improve on, because they don't have a KPI baseline measuring system in place in the first place. So the first thing that I do when I start working with private clients is we provide with them the KPI success tracker, and we say to them, guys, once a week, I want you to share this with me so I understand. More importantly, you understand what's going well and what's not going well in your business. Because once you know that, then you know what the leaking points are in your business, and we know how to fix them. But if you don't measure, you don't know what you're improving and what's changing. If you're watching this on YouTube, there should be a link in the description, because I tend to include my free KPI tracker. So please feel free to use it in your practice and just basically copy paste what we do. I work with clinics that don't use them, but I also work with clinics that use very, very, very complicated KPI trackers, scorecards for CAs, for clinic managers, for chiropractors, for massage therapists, and that can also overcomplicate the system. So for us, this has worked really, really well for the last 10 years. We've used it for a long time. We know it works. So now it's yours if you want it. The second thing, how do we get patients to start care, is probably another video that I would make. If you want me to, let me know in the comments below and I'm happy to do that. The third asymmetrical business concept is probably the most important one, by the way, guys. Sometimes marketing can cheat your way out of a problem until you get to this stage. So you can have a very, very good marketing strategy. You can have an amazing looking website. You can do lots and lots and lots of spinal screenings. But if you don't deliver results to your clients and you don't know how to retain them, then it's pointless. It's not pointless. It will create results for short term, but long term it's going to compromise the brand of your business. It's going to compromise the reputation of your business. And patients are just not going to rave about you the way they should. In my practice, we have between 35-37% referral rate, which means that out of 100 new patients a month, 30, 35, 40 of them are generated by existing clients, which is amazing because you know, if you're a practice owner, that these are the best clients you can possibly get. So that's the third one, is figuring out how do I retain the client, and most importantly, how do I deliver results? Because when you deliver results, people will talk about you. Your marketing costs will go down, your retention rate will increase. And again, this is something we talk about in my community, and I can talk about this forever. The fourth and probably most challenging one for business owners to get, because results and retention is more about what the chiropractor does in the room, maybe some of the systems and the follow-up funnels you have. The hiring and building team culture is tough. It's the toughest one for me that I've had to battle with. I found some cheat codes. I've had some great successes. I've had some big failures when it comes to hiring and firing. But for the last 5 years, we've not had any issues. And we're probably one of the only companies, especially here in the UK, that is able to truly provide value for the team whilst growing sustainably. I have had companies before where they overhire and they cannot deliver on the training, on the ongoing CPD, on building team culture. I'm so lucky that some of my CAs have been with me for the last 6 years, literally since day one. We found the formula of how to hire and what type of person we're looking for, how to build the culture within the company. I still have a lot of challenges and a lot to learn, but this fourth point it's game changer, especially if you at the position like me to step away from the business and just work on the business model rather than in the business treating patients. If I get bored one day, I have the option to go back and treat patients, but for the time being, we've had 5 or 6 consecutive record months since I've stepped down. So if you guys want to learn more about this stuff, don't be shy. Drop me a message on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you find me, because when someone has walked the walk and you're able to just drop the ego, which is what I had to do when I was learning this, the quickest way to success is just to ask for help. For someone, but don't ask for help from someone who I've heard this great quote once, and he said, don't ask for directions from someone who hasn't been to that destination. Don't ask for directions from someone who hasn't walked that walk. And you may agree or may disagree with that quote, but for me, it's a game changer. I don't know how to get my clinic to the next level now. So if I want to get to 2, 3, 4 million a year turnover, I don't really know how to get there because I haven't been there. And for me to find a mentor is quite challenging because once you get to a certain level, then it's more difficult to make changes. But when I was making 10, 20K a month and someone was making 50, I was just asking them the question. I would join their mastermind. I used to pay a coach $4,000 a month just to show up once a month for them to kick my butt. And then I'll just go make the changes, and it showed up in the results. And based on this so far, it boils down to 2 things. How you spend your time and how you spend your energy. This is really, really, really important concept. This is your energy and time mental model. Each one of these sticky notes, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a bunch of notes in green and in red. The green represents your energy, You wake up every day and you have a certain amount of energy, and the pink or the red represents your time. These are the two assets that you have as a business owner, as a person, as a partner. How you use them and where you allocate them is up to you. Imagine you wake up and you have 24 of these little units of time and energy. How you spend them and on what activities you spend them on is going to be the biggest game changer for you, your practice, your business, your family, your financial freedom, having fun along the way, and helping more patients, period. Full stop. So guys, this is a little bit of a loaded video, but if you semi-apply this principle, I promise you, your practice, your life, your desires, your dreams, your goals will change forever for the better. If you want to find out more information, I'll put some links in the comment section. If you need any help or support implementing any of this stuff, don't be afraid to reach out. I often offer, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed with the number of clients that we've taken on board, because people see results and then they start to refer, which is, again, goes back to this point, which is results. But if you really are struggling, or if you are really looking to implement some of these and you want to take your practice to the next level, don't be afraid, reach out. I offer a 1-hour clinic audit. I call it a strategy call, where we can sit down, we can figure out what are your goals, what's working, what's not working for you, where are the business challenges, where are the business problems, and to figure out if I can help you. If I can't, that's fine. I'll still love and support you as much as I can. If I can, and if you're happy, great, we can work together. Guys, that's it. End of the video. Thanks for watching.